That's a very, very good transition here to this so-called video, and now some of the reporting that's actually come out of that video. So let's take a listen, take a look, shall we? Let's go and put it up here on the screen from Wired.com. If people don't know Wired, technology-based magazine, one of the best tech kind of publications that's out there. Metadata shows the FBI's quote raw Jeffrey Epstein prison video was likely modified. Metadata embedded in the video and analyzed by Wired, an independent video forensic expert, shows that rather than being a direct export from the prison surveillance system, the footage was modified, likely using the professional editing tool Adobe Premiere Pro. The file appears to have been assembled from at least 2 source clips, saved multiple times, exported, uploaded to the DOJ website, where it was presented as, quote, raw footage. That is, interesting, isn't it? The metadata analysis shows at the very least that there was some manipulation. I mean, we can sympathize, perhaps, in some respects, if you're like, hey, here's all the footage that we have. We edited it for clarity or something, but they called it raw. Okay,
clarity.
They called it raw. Let's be clear about raw. Now let's go ahead and put the video up on the screen just to show some of the problems. So everybody, take a look. Let's loop that again, guys, shall we? Look at the timestamp. It jumps from 11:58 to midnight at 12 a.m. Now remember the explanation here from Pam Bondi about that missing minute. I've personally never heard of a camera system like this. Let's go ahead and play A10 for how the Attorney General responds to why there's a missing 1 minute from the tape.
And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Right, so every night there's 1 minute of missing footage. Now, this is one of the most secure prisons in the United States of America. I have a dumbass Ring camera, and I have a more sophisticated video system than the Bureau of Prisons. I mean, that actually is kind of believable.
Possible,
that is theoretically believable, but, I'm just a little bit skeptical, especially whenever they're not releasing any evidence or any of this other stuff.
I mean, it's just always like, okay, all the other cameras happen to not be working, and the guards happen to be sleeping, and the way this was previously presented to us was basically like, listen, we just don't have the video to definitively prove either way.
Yes.
And now it's like, no, we do have the video, and here it is, and it definitely definitively proves it. And then instantly there's questions about what this camera angle is, and what it's showing, and why is there a minute missing, and by the way, you said this was raw footage, and we now know that it's been edited and manipulated in some kind of a way. So again, there's just no reason to trust. And recall, guys, they came out with in super definitive, multiple times actually, statements of saying there is just nothing there.
Yeah.
Like, we have decided, Kash Patel and Joe Rogan, we looked into it, we did the research, we are definitively, conclusively saying he definitely killed himself. And this video is what we're supposed to use to like have total faith that they're telling us the truth and there's no there, et cetera. And immediately we notice these inconsistencies, and they're spinning and portraying this in a way that is just fundamentally dishonest from what the video actually reflects.
I mean, part of why this all drives me crazy is that it's like the Kennedy assassination. Look, I mean, if you read the Warren Commission, it's all there. I wouldn't say it's a good case, but there's the case for why, it was lone gunmen and all this other stuff. Well, what did we do over the last 60, 70 years or whatever? We've gone through systematically and be like, okay, here's an inconsistency, here's an inconsistency, here's an inconsistency, to the point where the inconsistencies show us, well, we don't know definitively what happened, but we know for sure it ain't this shit. There ain't some magic bullet and, the autopsy report. I could go on forever. Well, that's the same thing here, okay? It's the exact same scenario. And so, for example, just with the video, which it's literally the video is now comparable at this point to the magic bullet theory or whatever. Just take a look, all right? Here, let's put this graphic up on the screen. And this is from Julie K. Brown, who's one of the best journalists who works on this. And she goes, look, the key camera cameras weren't, quote, not working. The cameras showing the guards are not even in the same cameras as those in the Epstein wing. If you look at the report, there is even a graphic. So guys, you can actually see exactly where the cell is, what camera, what they were showing was the one that was streaming and was recording, and then others that were streaming but not recording in the entire rest of the cell block. And basically, it shows you how there's like multiple different cameras, avenues, paths to the cell. You can see actually in the background there, the L-tier camera that was not working, you know, to this. It boggles the mind to actually think that an edited video now at this point, a provably edited video, one that has multiple camera angles, which we were told were not recording and not missing, and that is definitive enough proof. They also always, you know, go beyond the idea of not really, they also go beyond the fact that this is all they're relying on and not the autopsy report. Remember, Michael Baden, one of the most famous forensic pathologists in the world, said, I'm looking at the, what is it, the hyoid bone, it's not consistent with the hanging. He's like, I'm just telling you that from basically all that I've been able to review, that it's not there. They didn't release any of that information. And then it comes down to the privacy element. People are like, oh, well, you want confidential access, you know, to these files? I'm like, well, yes, I do, but you promised that you would release everything. You promised transparency. You literally ran on this. There's tape after tape of Trump, JD, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and the Attorney General, all five on camera, promising not only transparency, but basically saying that there is a broader conspiracy. We've seen all of this other information. And so you're basically forced to conclude they were either completely all lying. I mean, you can't really lie about saying, I'm gonna release it. You know, that it's not even you're basing it on information. It's an action item. You're like,
right.
I'm gonna do it. And then you come in and you say, you're not gonna do it. Maybe the Attorney General, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino, quote, got over their skis. I don't think so, especially because the Attorney General was the sitting Attorney General at that time. She said it was on her desk. Was she lying at that point? If you were, lady, how can we ever believe anything that you ever say at this point? Every person prosecuted by the United States government from this point forward should just be like, hey, cite the Epstein case as to why the government is basically lying, you know, while in office. I don't know. There's so much BS that has happened in this, you know, initial report. The video is just the latest example now at this point, and yeah, it's just preposterous.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about it.
I mean, the bottom line is that Pam Bondi and Alina Habba and Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, like, you were either lying then or you're lying now.
Right.
You told us there were thousands of hours of footage, and now you're telling us there's nothing.
Yeah.
Which is it? Which is it? Because either one means that you have been flagrantly dishonest with the American people, and there needs to be some sort of reckoning with that. But they just clearly, desperately want to sweep this under the rug, change the subject, talk about Rosie O'Donnell. I saw some press conference with Pam Bondi talking about like trans girls in sports or whatever. And that was another thing that was an indicator to me as I looked at those comments too from MAGA people, and they were like, this is bullshit. If you want to protect girls, how about you release the Epstein files?
It's true.
And I was like, wow, even their like go-to, let's, you know, culture war distraction, they were not buying it. So that's how serious this is.
Why should you buy it? You're like, what? Like
oh yeah, you care so much about protecting girls.
That's what I'm saying. I can't deal with this level of BS anymore. And look, I mean, that's me, but I really do think that there's a lot of people out there who feel similarly. Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.